Have you ever felt like you're everyone's favorite person, yet at the same time, you feel completely and utterly alone? You are the one who never says no. You're always the one to stay late at the office, the one who listens to everyone's drama for hours, and the one who constantly works to keep the peace, even when it's not your job to fix it. People call you the nicest person they know. They admire your patience and your selflessness. But let's be honest for a moment. Behind that polite smile and that helpful attitude, there is a growing sense of quiet resentment. There is an exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. You are experiencing a slow loss of identity, a fading away of who you actually are. You see, being too nice isn't actually a personality trait. In the world of psychology, it's often recognized as a survival mechanism. It is a protective shield we build brick by brick to save ourselves from the terrifying fear of rejection or abandonment. We tell ourselves a lie. We believe that if we are perfect, if we never cause trouble, and if we fulfill every single request, we will finally be worthy of love and we will finally be safe. But the truth is much darker. By never upsetting anyone else, you are in a constant state of upsetting yourself. You are trading your internal peace for a fake, fragile external harmony. And today, we are going to explore the heavy, hidden price you are paying for that silence. Where does this pattern actually begin? For the vast majority of us, the nice mask was carefully crafted during our earliest years. If you grew up in a household where love felt conditional, or where an adult was unpredictable, angry, or emotionally fragile, you learned a survival lesson very early on. That lesson was, my safety depends entirely on their mood. You didn't have the luxury of just being a child. Instead, you became a world-class emotional detective. You learned to scan your parents' faces for the slightest flicker of anger or disappointment. You discovered that being good, being quiet, and being helpful was the only reliable way to receive affection, or, more importantly, to avoid conflict. In that environment, you weren't allowed to have a no. Your boundaries were seen as a threat or as disrespect. And so, you carried that child's desperate survival strategy directly into your adult relationships. You aren't being nice now because you genuinely want to be. You're being nice because that small, scared child inside of you is still terrified of being cast out if they make a single mistake. You are still trying to earn your right to exist by being useful. This constant pressure to be nice has a real physical cost that you can feel in your bones. When you feel the urge to say no, when every fiber of your being wants to decline a request, but your mouth betrays you and says yes, your brain is undergoing a high-stakes emergency. Deep inside your head, the amygdala, the brain's ancient alarm system, is perceiving a social threat as a life-or-death situation. To your primal brain, being disliked or rejected by the group wasn't just an insult, it was a death sentence. To avoid this, your body triggers what psychologists call a fawn response. Unlike the famous fight or flight, fawning is a strategy to neutralize a threat by becoming small, useful, or pleasing. You are essentially trying to charm your way out of danger. This keeps you in a state of hypervigilance. You are constantly scanning faces for the slightest micro-expression of disapproval. This endless surveillance floods your nervous system with cortisol and adrenaline. You are living in a permanent state of high alert, reacting to a simple favor as if it were a predator's attack. This is why you feel so drained. Your body is fighting a war that doesn't exist. But here is the dark secret that no one tells you. Being too nice actually makes you dishonest. When you say yes, but your heart feels no, you are lying. You are presenting a version of yourself that doesn't exist, and this creates a deep, toxic well of resentment. You start to feel bitter toward the very people you were supposedly helping. You begin to feel like a martyr, silently judging others for not being as giving or as considerate as you are. This resentment acts like a slow-acting poison in your relationships. Because you never express your true needs, they never get met, and you start to feel like a victim of your own kindness. You aren't building a real connection. You are building a wall of unspoken grievances. Real intimacy requires honesty, and honesty requires the risk of upsetting someone. Without that risk, your relationships are just a performance. You aren't being a saint. You are just being a prisoner of your own fear. To see how this plays out in the real world, let's look at Sarah. Sarah is the person everyone in the office relies on. She is the one who always says yes to extra shifts, even when she's clearly exhausted. She covers for colleagues who forgot their deadlines. And she never complains when her boss gives her last-minute work on a Friday afternoon. Sarah thinks she is building a reputation as a dedicated, indispensable team player. But in reality, something else is happening. Because she never sets a limit, her coworkers have unconsciously stopped respecting her time. They don't see her as valuable. They see her as available. When Sarah finally hits a wall and needs a small favor in return, she is shocked to find herself alone. No one steps up to help. Why? Because she has trained everyone to believe that her needs simply don't exist. She has become a background character in her own life, a tool for others' convenience, rather than a person with her own agency. This is the ultimate trap. You give everything hoping to be loved, but you end up being treated like a doormat. There are 5 undeniable signs that being too nice is slowly destroying your life. First, you over-apologize for taking up space. You say sorry when someone bumps into you, and you apologize before expressing a basic opinion. This is a sign that you feel your presence is a burden to others. Second, your calendar is a graveyard of your own desires. You are so busy fulfilling favors for people who wouldn't even answer your phone call in an emergency that you have no time for your own dreams. Third, you are a chronic conflict phobe. You will let people walk over you, disrespect you, or even lie to you, just to avoid a 30-second uncomfortable conversation. Fourth, you are soul tired. This isn't the kind of tired that a nap can fix. You have given so much of your emotional labor away for free that your inner well has completely run dry. And fifth, you are a magnet for takers. Because you have no boundaries, you attract people who love to use others. They don't love you for who you are. They love your inability to say no. If any of these sound familiar, it's not because you are too good. It's because you are losing yourself. How do you break a cycle that has run your life since childhood? It starts with one radical truth. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your time. To reclaim your power, use the 24-hour rule. When asked for a favor, simply say, "Let me check my schedule, and I'll get back to you." This pause gives your brain the space to choose logic over panic. Start small. Say no to minor inconveniences. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out. They are gates that protect your soul. At first you will feel a wave of guilt. Don't flinch. That guilt is just your old self, making room for a version of you that finally has self-respect. Stop asking for permission to exist. Your needs are not a burden. The people who truly love you will stay when you say no. Those who leave were only there for the free ride. It's time to stop being the nice one and start being the real one. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Step out of the shadows of expectation and into the light of your own agency. Reclaim your voice. Reclaim your life. It's time to finally come home to yourself. If this video felt like it was written specifically for you, it's a sign that you are ready to stop being the nice one and start being the real one. Click the like button if you're committing to setting one boundary today. Subscribe to join our journey of reclaiming our true selves. And most importantly, share in the comments. What is the one thing you are finally going to say no to? You've spent long enough taking care of everyone else. It's time to take care of you. Thanks for watching.